Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm joined by NetX5 and we're going to review The Big Lebowski, a classic film that I really enjoy. It's one of my favourites of all time, so we're just going to talk a little bit about that today. So this is our first sort of crossover video. We're going to do, hopefully do some more of these through the year, but it's just our first beginning of that to cross over our two channels.
So for this review I'm crossing over into Film Guru's channel to talk about the Coen Brothers' Big Lebowski, and then Film Guru will appear on my channel to talk about The Sting.
And we're sort of doing the Big Lebowski, a Coen Brothers film, in the lead up to
their new film, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
And so I thought we'd start with The Big Lebowski. Anyway, so The Big Lebowski was directed by the Coen Brothers and it stars a slew of people, including
Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Julianne Moore, John Turturro, Sam Elliott, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and a hell of a lot more.
Yes, pretty much is who's who in this sort of film. So I just sort of want to do a bit of a different review here. So I really want to talk about like what I liked about the film, the things we enjoyed, and why this film is considered a cult classic ultimately. I think I'm going to start with like the acting. I think everybody does a really great job. I think that Jeff Bridges is fantastic and it's my favourite role of his. And you know, John Goodman's great. Steve Buscemi's good. They're all really sort of solid characters and I really enjoy them. So what did you think of the guys in the film?
Yeah, for me, the performances were all really well done. Like, for me, a lot of the script helps like complement the acting, because everyone definitely works well with the dialogue. Because definitely makes everyone stand out with the lines they say, how they say it, and how they interact with each other.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And just the interaction with them, I think, is fantastic. They sort of, every line that's written in the script, they had to say a particular way, and there's a certain amount of F words and a variety of other things in there they had to say in a certain way. And it was just what they brought to that character, ultimately. I really like the story, I guess, the situation that Jeff Lebowski finds himself in. He's sort of a slacker character, doesn't have a lot of money or anything, but he's sort of thrown into this sort of detective world, becomes an amateur sleuth in a way. And it's sort of about him navigating through that with the help of his friends, you know, Walter and also Donnie. And it's kind of interesting to see how he does get through this, because it's kind of a really bizarre thing to fall into, and it's all to do with them peeing on his rug ultimately, and that starts him on this journey of getting to the bottom of what's going on and trying to get his rug back ultimately.
Yeah, for me, I love the film, but I do think the story does go in a few directions that ended up going nowhere, and that's kind of one of my major problems with the film. Like, I still love it, but like the fact that some of the things that the film builds on eventually lead up to nothing does feel like a little bit of a letdown, but still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess for me, it follows that detective narrative. Like, it's always the detective gets involved in something and it doesn't always come to a clear closure, and there's still a lot of open-endedness to it. So I think they really captured that. And I did see an interview with the Coen Brothers, and they talk about how they wanted to put this dude character into like a Raymond Chandler novel, and I think they accomplished that really well. And it's very brilliant. I like the way it looks. I love Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott's fantastic. He's the narrator of the film, known as the Stranger. He appears at the start and in the middle and then at the end. And just him alone is just fantastic. And he has one of the best written monologues, I think, at the start of the film. And it's one of the best written monologues I think the Coen Brothers have given a particular character in these sort of films.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to pick which actor was the absolute best. Like, hard for me to nail down a favorite. I feel like all of them really were really good, because you got John Turturro's character, Donnie's character, well, Steve Buscemi, got Jeff Bridges, John Goodman. All of these are very colourful characters, so it's hard to pick which one is the absolute best. Like, all of them for me are on even ground as being really good.
Yeah, I think it's a really great ensemble piece, and they all work really well together. So this film really has a lot of the Coen Brothers' flair and dialogue and characters, and it's a very interesting and fascinating film with a lot of humour in it, and I quite like that. And it's become, as a lot of people know, a cult classic. It's a film that started a religion and a variety of other things. There's festivals where everybody gets dressed up as their particular favourite character they go to, and sometimes Jeff Bridges goes to those sort of things. And he also started a band called The Abiders, which I thought was really great. So it sort of means a lot within the cult classic cinema that's out there and that people really enjoy. And I think that it's just a great example of that, and it just sort of took off. It didn't do real well, I don't think, when it first came out, but now it's a huge hit.
Yeah, because when the film first came out, it pretty much bombed. Like, it wasn't a big box office success. Critics weren't fond of it, unlike their previous film Fargo, which got all the Oscar nominations. But definitely years have picked up 20 years later, and the film is now regarded as one of their absolute best films.
So, final verdict. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend it. If you have seen it, watch it again. I think it's such a great film, and I get a lot out of it, and each time I watch it, I get more and more out of it, and I think a lot of people get heaps out of this film, actually. If you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend it.
Yeah, for me, this is definitely a classic for a reason. Like, a lot of it worked. Like, the characters worked, the script was amazing. The story, while I feel like it does leave things, like, there's no final resolution to it, it's still engaging to watch. I still enjoy this film a lot. I was very much into it. Like, and after, like, when I first saw this film, I wasn't too big on it, but after multiple viewings, it's starting to definitely grow on me, and like the score I'll give will definitely be very positive in the high notes.
Okay, well, that leads us to each of our scores. So mine will be out of 5. So I'm going to give this film 4.5 because I think it's a really fantastic film. What are you going to give it, Luke?
Yeah, for me, you do your 5-star thing. I do a 10 out of 10 thing from 1 to 10. So roughly, I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10.
That's fair enough. Good score. Hang. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoy what you've seen here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. And please check out NetX5's channel if you haven't. Highly recommend that as well. So as usual, thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy the movies.